All right, Conrad and Lucy and Caleb, it's time for another episode in the adventure of the X-Men versus the Sentinels. No reason to catch you up. You know what's going on. Let's just look at the front cover. There's the X-Men, and they're defending themselves against the powerful robot Sentinels. Look, Professor X is watching over them, but here's something amazing. The Beast on an examination table. What's going on there? It says that in this epic, we'll learn the origin of the Beast. We'll find the background story to Hank McCoy as he becomes one of the powerful X-Men. All right, look at this picture, this image. Remember last time the hill rose up and the weapons of the Sentinels began attacking the X-Men. So let's find out what happens in this issue that's titled Prisoners of the Mysterious Master Mold. Y'all remember that was a phrase that was repeated by one of the captive Sentinels. Well, here's what the editor says to sum up our story. Searching for the unhuman Sentinels who were built by Dr. Bolivar Trask for the purpose of finding and destroying mutants, the X-Men stumble onto the Sentinels' hidden fortress. And then, while the fanatical Dr. Trask is a prisoner of his own monstrous Sentinels who have rebelled against his authority, the X-Men's deadly ordeal begins. All right, so we've caught up, and look, here's the Angel. He's kind of holding on. He says, the Sentinels has spotted us. We're under attack. Hank says, that seems to be painfully obvious right now. And look, the professor is falling in from his wheelchair, and Cyclops says, the professor, we've got to protect him fast. But Professor says, I am unhurt. Your main objective is to strike back at the Sentinels. Iceman says, wowee, they're going all out to finish us off as he topples down the hill. And Marvel Girl is tumbling too, and she says, there are so many of them, and they are so powerful. So here comes the Angel, and he grabs the professor, and Marvel Girl looks and sees, Angel, that chasm behind the professor. Hurry. Hold on, sir, says Angel. I won't let you fall. I told you, said the professor, do not let me hamper your battle strategy. I'm not as helpless as you think. But, sir, no buts. You're all in the gravest of danger. Protect yourselves. And the Beast wonders, like I do, I wonder how the professor would have saved himself. But, uh-oh, Beast has other things to think about. No time to worry about that now. If any of these careening boulders dent my noble cranium, it'll be bye-bye, Beast. If those Sentinels are powerful enough to make nature go wild this way, then the professor was right about the impending danger. Whoosh! There goes another stone, but the nimble Beast dodges it. Meanwhile, the Iceman is saying, holy smoke, the ground is opening up right under my feet. For once I envy the Angel, at least he can fly. Crack! But I bet the Iceman has ways of defending himself, and sure enough, there's one thing I can do, says Iceman. Being able to build my own ice bridge comes in pretty handy sometimes. So he saved himself from falling. Iceman, all of you, move, hollers a leader. And it's the Professor X. He says, head for high ground. You're in jeopardy every second you remain where you are. The Angel thinks, his brain never stops. Somehow, I bet he could have saved himself. And so they all head for high ground away from the self-destroying terrain. And Cyclops says, Hank, you heard the prof. Keep moving. Tut, tut, deputy leader. Have you no regard for chivalry? I merely paused to offer assistance to yon damsel in distress. And so as Hank walks up the side of the cliff with his bare feet, he offers a hand to Marvel Girl. But you know what? Marvel Girl says, I'm hardly a damsel in distress, Mr. McCoy, if you'll kindly step aside. And look, she can telekinetically, she can elevate herself. She says, I shall levitate myself out of danger telekinetically. Or have you forgotten why I'm called Marvel Girl? Ah, sighs the beast, how I long for the olden days when maidens fainted at the drop of a hat. Marvel Girl says, if you don't start climbing, Hank, you're not liable to be around for any newer days. Yeah, he's in danger. How about this ice ladder of mine, Psych? Says Bragg's Iceman as he creates a ladder to elevate himself. Boy, wouldn't we make dandy firemen. Clam up, responds Cyclops. Keep climbing. Save your energy. Iceman thinks, nah, old party poop. Cyclops is the serious guy, right? But look, he's using his I-beam to create handholds so that he can climb up the cliff himself. Minutes later, they're up on top of the high ground, and Professor says we seem to have climbed out of effective range of their nature activator rays. That's what's going on. The rays were activating the nature, but the weapons are still firing. Batang, batang! But we've got to invade that fortress before they can launch a new attack against us. And most important of all, we must learn what was meant by the words Master Mold. Cyclops realizes they're still firing. If we hadn't climbed to safety, we'd be finished. How do we get in there, sir? Asks Angel. It looks impossible. And the professor replies, I've spent years drumming into you. Nothing is impossible. If I could only learn why that Sentinel toppled over in the TV studio. Do y'all remember that? Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, wham, he fell down. That would be important to know. Although Angel doesn't get it, he asks, what good would that do? Professor says, it proves they have a weak spot. Our lives may depend on finding it. Your first task is to get across the chasm. Iceman, Plan G. Yes, sir, I'll have the glider built in no time. And so Iceman, with his great power, creates a glider out of ice. Cyclops says, good work, Bobby. Now I'll supply the motive power. So, hold tight, fellas. I'll have to apply nearly maximum power. Shoot the work, Psych. We're big boys now, says Iceman. B says, this doesn't seem very dignified, but I suppose it's necessary. And so, Iceman has created some poles for hanging on to. And what's Cyclops going to do? Are you sure you can do it, Scott? Asks Marvel Girl. Cyclops says, it has to be done, so I'll do it. Professor says, remember, Scott, it must be perfect the first time. Well, let's see what happens. Slowly, calmly, Cyclops estimates the amount of power blast energy he'll need. Then, as his eyes begin to close, his visor starts to rise. So you notice now he no longer needs to use his fingers to open up his visor. Higher and higher goes the visor until it is completely open, but still the most dangerous eyes in all the world remain tightly shut as the youthful mutant stands perfectly motionless. Then, with the force of a lightning bolt, his eyelids snap open as a frantic cry escapes his lips. Now! And he shoots out his powerful I-beam, and zip! It propels the glider off into the air. Professor realizes it's a perfect launch, Scott. Now quickly, Angel, fly after them in case they need help. And so the Angel zooms off on his wings, No matter who is attacking us from that fortress, here's where they learn that nobody pushes the X-Men around. Uh-oh, Bobby, the ice skimmer is wobbling dangerously. Your design isn't aerodynamically accurate. What do you want for a 10-second job? Says Iceman. A B-52? But this doesn't look like it's very safe. They're gonna fall, realizes Angel. Hold on, I'll be right there. The sooner the better, son, hollers Hank. But before the winged wonder can seize his falling friends, whist, whist, two mechanical arms reach out. Angel says, mechanical tentacles. They just barely missed me. Oof, says the beast. Look out, says Bobby. Something's caught us. Don't let it catch you, Angel. We're being drawn into the fortress, caught like sitting ducks, says Beast. Iceman, are you okay? Is anything hurt? Only my pride, partner. But Angel says, I can't turn back now. Maybe I can make it into the fortress with them. And so the window opens. The tentacles then draw the Beast and Iceman inside. And the Angel is following. We'll get him yet, fellas. I'm right behind you. But the Beast says, no, turn back, Angel. You can't do anything alone. You've got to bring the others. Shame on you, Beastie. You want me to lose my superhero's license? But suddenly, a great gusher of flame shoots out the narrow opening. Angel is able to avoid it. He says, if I'd been a second slower, I'd have had my wings singed permanently. So he dodges the flame, but he doesn't get inside the fortress. Looks like there was more truth than fiction in what Hank said. I better zoom back and do some brainstorming with the others. Meanwhile, within the strange fortress, we hear a voice, one of the Sentinels saying, deposit them in the transparent cage. Good, good. And so the tentacles drop Iceman and Beast into this cage. Iceman says, now what? And Beast says, I assume your question is purely rhetorical because he doesn't know the answer. They're covering the top of this cubicle with a sheet of sliding glass. Oh, it's too late to stop it. Maybe we're going to be gift wrapped, says Bobby, and shipped to the Avengers. Forgive me, says Beast, if I don't chortle over your woebegone wisecrack, little friend. Oh no, says Iceman. Now they're filling this thing with some kind of gas. Beast says, I'm getting groggy. Must be some time of quick acting, sleeping vapor. Well, Iceman tosses out one more gag. It sure isn't chicken soup. And so the gas puts them to sleep. Fortunately, we're not asleep. We're going to keep on going. It is done, speaks one of the Sentinels. You can see his hand on the valve. And the television screen shows that Beast and Iceman have fallen asleep under the influence of the sleep gas. It was a simple matter to defeat the invading humans, says one Sentinel to the other. So shall we defeat any and all humans who dare to defy the Sentinels. Trask is there. He says, this is madness. You cannot take over the machines which I have created. You don't know what you're doing. The Sentinel says, we know far more than you suspect, Dr. Trask. You did not, did you not yourself create us? No, says Trask. I created the master mold. Only he can create additional Sentinels. But you were made for only one purpose, to guard the human race from mutants. That is your only duty. But the Sentinel says, we can only guard the human race by becoming its master. Humans are too weak, too foolish to govern themselves. Henceforth we shall rule. No, says Trask, you cannot enslave all of mankind. We have the power to do whatever we wish. Nothing can stop us. Now come. We shall take you to the master mold. You shall help create more Sentinels, enough to overrun all of the universe. What have I done? Asks Trask. What unthinkable menace have I unleashed? And so Sentinel 7 and 11 carry Trask to the master mold. Seconds later, he who would have been the master is brought before the one who has made him a helpless slave. Master Mold says, Bolivar Trask, I have summoned you to serve me. Though you have given me the power, I do not possess the knowledge to create other Sentinels. You shall do it for me. No, never, says Trask. I cannot betray the entire human race. I'd rather die. The Sentinel says, Your wish shall be instantly granted if the Master Mold so commands. Remember the weapons you have given me, says Master Mold. I can destroy half your nation. Refuse to serve me and you'll be responsible for the carnage that results. You mean, answers Trask, you'd attack mankind? My Sentinels and I are not human. We have no feelings, no emotions. We are capable of anything. But the X-Men will fight you. They'll find some way to destroy you all. So all of a sudden, Dr. Trask isn't against the X-Men. He wants them to help him. But Master Mold says, Fool, did you not create us to destroy the X-Men? We are too powerful. They will be helpless before us. We have already captured 2 of them. I shall study them before I order them destroyed. Meanwhile, outside the fantastic fortress, we see Angel returning by flight after escaping the flame. He says, Iceman and the Beast were captured. I was too late to save them. Cyclops says, We know. We witnessed the entire tableau. Professor assures Angel, You did your best. Unfortunately, you're not made of asbestos. But what do we do now? Asks Marvel Girl. How do we save them? How do we get into the fortress? Good question, Jean, says Angel. They seem to have enough built-in weapons to stop an army. An army, perhaps, says Professor, but we are the X-Men. No military force on Earth can equal our unique powers. And look, he reaches toward his great, powerful mind. What's he going to do? Though I cannot control the mechanical brain of a Sentinel, I can still strike it with a bolt of pure mental energy. Somewhere behind those walls, Sentinels are operating the weapons which guard that fortress. If I blank out their minds, I nullify their weapons. Okay, so see, they're still shooting powerful ray beams. Great, Professor, says Angel. If you can douse those rays, we can strike before they know it. Exactly, says Professor. The time has come for me to be an active participant in our battle. First, I shall mentally trace the rays to their original source. We'll stand ready, sir, says Cyclops. Once those rays go out, we move. Silence. Do not make a sound. Do not move a muscle. I guess we can move now. I've tapped the rays. I'm following them. Following now. And look, the professor wrenches his eyes shut. He's probing mentally. Probing mentally. How will he succeed? Let's look. Wow! At that instant, in the master weaponry control room of the Sentinels' fortress, these 3 Sentinels collapse. Oh! What has befallen our gunnery specialists? This is passing strange. They have been affected by some unknown source outside. Our repel guns and rays must be attended. These stricken ones must be replaced. Your words have much substance, but it cannot be done without the section leader's approval. There will be a delay, for we dare not violate our programmed instructions. Then the section leader must be contacted at once. But even as the sentinel speaks, his section leader is attending to other matters. This leader says, "Follow me. The prisoner has been summoned by the master mold." And so on a stretcher, they're carrying the beast. What's going to happen to him? All right. Moments later, Master Mold says, "Place the subject under the mental psychoprobe." So look, the beast is on this examination table, and the psychoprobe is aimed right at his brain. Master Mold says, "Disobey me, and I give the order to attack the nearest city of humans." "No, you mustn't," says Trask. "I'll obey. I'll do it." The psychoprobe will make this X-Man reveal his innermost secret, a small enough price to pay for sparing an entire city. Click, and he turns on the probe, and look, it shines its beams on Hank McCoy's mind, probing his psyche, revealing his past secrets. Then and there, under the irresistible influence of the strange psycho beam, the captive beast begins to speak in slow, emotionless tones. "I am the beast. I serve the X-Men. Our mission, protect mankind from evil mutants and any or all dangers that may befall." Trask is listening to this, and he thinks their mission is to protect mankind. How wrong I was about them. What dread harm I've done. So Trask, by fearing the X-Men, have managed to hinder the work of those who are really trying to protect him and others. But even as the beast rambles on, the weapons have stopped firing, and so the other three X-Men are approaching the fortress. Marvel Girl says, "If only the professor could be with us." And he says, "I am with you, following every move mentally. All our powers will be needed for this assault." And so Marvel Girl transports herself telekinetically. The Angel has Cyclops riding on his back. Cyclops says, "Level off, Warren. As soon as you're in position, I'll use my optic blast power against the fortress." Angel says, "Let's hope it works, Psych. If not, the professor better start recruiting a new team pronto." And so, as we close this episode, we see three X-Men guided by Professor X attacking the fortress. Inside the fortress, both the Iceman and the Beast are held captive, and the Beast is revealing his secrets. When we come back, we'll learn more about the background story of Hank McCoy, and we'll further the adventure of the X-Men versus the Sentinels. So I hope y'all are enjoying this story. There's lots more to come. Bye-bye.